The Department of Homeland Security has already confiscated more fentanyl than ever before. In the last 2 years, we have seized more fentanyl than we have in the previous 5 years combined.
And what are you doing about it? The Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas telling us exactly what we knew, touting the administration's job on fentanyl while speaking with the border, at the border in Arizona yesterday. House Democrats are praising the White House after their trip to the border in McAllen, Texas, if you could believe that one. Congressman Jerry Nadler and Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal writing this: since the implementation of additional legal pathways by the Biden administration, encounters at the southwest border have dropped to the lowest level in 2 years. There have now been more than 1 million illegal migrant encounters at the southern border. That's just since October 1st. James, do they think that they're telling us something that we don't know? Do they think that they're telling us something that we're supposed to be happy about? I mean, we know what's going on at the border. Or are they just lying straight out?
Well, zero credibility. The strategy for a long time was to ignore it, was to hope that most of the press corps would ignore it as well, and they wouldn't have to deal with it. They've shifted from ignoring it to saying, oh, it was a problem, but it's fixed. And, of course, you look at the scenes, you see the results, it's not fixed. This culture of lawlessness and all of the ills that result from it has just got to end. This is, you know, I've been maybe too optimistic. I have thought all along.
Well, you're an altar boy. You're an altar boy.
This is an opportunity.
No, we know
this is an opportunity.
You always see the good in everyone, and you want, you know, puppies and rainbows. But I get that. They are so far. There's no puppies and rainbows.
Funny. That's so funny.
I'm not seeing rainbows and puppy dogs.
You're so funny. You're saying James is the altar boy. I thought I was the altar boy, the eternal optimist, and I would say James is pretty realistic. But
they are lying about this, though, because what they're saying here, that border encounters are down, what they're not mentioning is that while border encounters are down, ports of entry encounters are more than double what they were in February 2022 because of Biden's illegal parole program, which encourages migrants to use the CBP One app to then go to a port of entry. Those encounters are more than double what they were last year because of this parole program. So it is dishonest.
And also there's, 100 plus people apprehended who were on the terrorist watch list. There's, look at these, the massive amount of fentanyl seized at the border. The death and destruction of just making the trek. I mean, it's all horrible. And then there's this new element recently of Chinese nationals, which, to me, it appears sinister just because I know what the Chinese Communist Party is trying to achieve. The Texas Department of Safety apprehended more Chinese nationals at the southern border on Tuesday. Fox cameras also captured video of migrants from China being released in Brownsville, Texas. The Customs and Border Protection sources said that they're being let go into the community because there are so many Chinese nationals crossing in, and there's just no more space to house them. Adam, this at a time that we know that the CCP wants to overtake the United States as the #1 superpower.
Oh, yeah.
They're going out of their way to get into America. They don't have to go through Mexico.
Well, there's a lot to unpack there, and I agree with you about China and Xi, who has this maniacal desire to somehow overtake the U.S. But as I'm listening to you, as I'm seeing these pictures, Maria, the one thing that jumps out at me is it's just so simple. Why don't we have a wall? Why is there not a wall on the border?
Right.
I mean, for crying out loud, there are ropes on a street in New York if you want to get into a dance club. There are turnstiles if you want to get into a subway. Why don't we have a wall at the border?
Because it was Trump's idea, Adam. It must be wrong.
Right. Thank you.
That's it,
right.
James.
It's crazy.
Yeah, no,
it's crazy.
I'm not going to report any puppy or rainbow sightings. This is an opportunity if Biden would ever choose to lead. But the Chinese immigrant issue really underlines why you have to have a border and vetting. Yes. There are probably
and real policy.
There are probably to be puppies and rainbows for a month. There are probably lots of great new Americans in that crowd. But given the risk of spying, the fentanyl trade, you can't just have an open border inviting people directly from an oppressive communist dictatorship which seeks to rule the world to come into the United States.
And to be clear,
there has to be vetting. This shouldn't be controversial.
Yeah, you've been calling for some immigration reform.
Yes.
You've been saying, look, we need more workers. We need something practical. I mean, we have an immigration plan in place. We give out 1 million green cards a year, but you want to see something done to actually be practical for the needs of the country.
Right.
But that's not what they're doing.
No. I keep waiting for the policy turn.
Right.
It's not happening.
That's why I keep saying you're an altar boy, because you're hoping and you're, with this, rainbows and puppy dogs.
Well, but we know why
they're not doing it.
We know why the Biden administration is letting so many people in, because all of a sudden, if they have a home and this becomes a friendly place, those people eventually become voters.
Yeah, there you go. And they'd like voters who are not American citizens. They want them to vote in D.C.
Of course.
They want them, illegals to vote, and they think they're going to vote Democrat.
Yeah, because you know that 50% of the country will never vote for you. So what do? Well, you increase the population, bring in another 2 or 3%. And, oh, look at that. Now you got a majority.
And that's so disingenuous.
It's so
We're going to take a quick break, and then